I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Studios has done something incredible with their films and given them a coherent, overarching storyline, something that other studios have been trying to copy for years. These films never cease to amaze me. In fact, Infinity War is probably one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Naturally, I was pretty excited to see the continuation of Scott Lang's story in Ant-Man and the Wasp when it came out back in July, and it was pretty good. For a sequel and a standalone superhero film, it was alright, but it felt like something was missing. After a few weeks of sitting on that feeling, I think it finally came to me. This movie doesn't really mean anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so to explain what I mean, I have to explain the first two Ant-Man films to an extent. So in the first movie, Hank Pym describes to Scott Lang how his wife, Janet Van Dyne, got lost in the quantum realm after she shrank too far to defuse a bomb in 1987.
To deactivate the bomb. And she was gone.
And he specifically tells Scott to never shrink that far. And so he logically shrinks that far to defeat the villain in the first movie. So in a stroke of miracle, he makes it out okay. Totally unscathed, he's fine. And so Hank Pym starts to wonder, hey, I wonder if my wife is still alive. And that leads us directly into Ant-Man and the Wasp. So in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Scott Lang starts to have these lucid dreams where he starts to see the world through Janet Van Dyne's eyes, and their minds become intertwined through the quantum sauce or something. Basically, this is Janet Van Dyne sending Scott signals that say, hey, I'm still alive down here in the quantum realm, so please come get me or I'll die. And that's pretty much what the entire plot revolves around. Just get Janet back movie. But of course, every good superhero film needs to have a good villain, such as Ghost, or Freddie Wong, or Doug Dimmadome. Basically, the main antagonist of the film, Ava Scott, or Ghost, suffered a time quantum super accident in the past, and now she travels through dimensions in time and space unwillingly all the time, and it hurts a whole lot. So to heal herself, she needs energy from the quantum realm, but if she gets it, it might kill Janet, so the heroes gotta stop that from happening. And then Doug Dimmadome wants to make money or something. So essentially, this movie's just a 2.5-hour jailbreak movie, but instead of regular jail, it's super jail in a different space-time. But let's talk about the movie as a whole for a second. Do I like this movie by itself? Yes. Do I think it's a good sequel to the original Ant-Man? Yes. Do I think it works well in the MCU? Not really. The severity of the situation in this movie is nowhere near any of the other MCU films, including the first Ant-Man. If you break down the core plots of all the other MCU films down to just a few words or a sentence, then you'll see what I mean. I'm going to give Civil War a pass because it sets up tons of plot points that carry over to later MCU films, including this one, and it also sets up two franchise-carrying characters in Black Panther and Spider-Man. So basically, Infinity War was save the entire universe, and this movie is get mom out of jail. To be completely honest, you could probably break up this entire movie, break it down to its core components, and put it into an hour TV special, and it would probably hit all the same notes that it did before. So if you're trying to watch this movie on its own, with the original Ant-Man, I'd say it's pretty good. Except that you can't do that because most of the plot points from this movie come from Captain America Civil War. So obviously, they want you to watch this movie along the line of the MCU films, and this is very clear with the after credits scenes. Here comes my main argument. So at the end of the movie, they retrieve Janet Van Dyne from the quantum realm. She uses her quantum sauce powers to cure Ghost, and then she leaves, and that leads us right into the after credits scene. So the after credits scene is Scott going into the quantum realm to receive a thermos full of quantum sauce, and just as the gang's about to pull him out, the line goes dead. We come back to the real world to find that they all disintegrated. Woo! So basically, this movie happens at the same time as Infinity War, which answers the question from Infinity War, hey, where's AntMan?
AntMan. There's an AntMan and a Spider-Man?
But the other thing that this after-credit scene does is wipes the entire plot of the movie in 5 minutes. Everything that they've been working for the past 2.5 hours to get one person out of the quantum realm gets wiped literally within a snap of the finger. So all this movie does in the MCU, in the grand scheme of things, puts Scott in a really undesirable place. And that's pretty much it. Also, the chances of 3 people getting dusted are kind of low. It's a 1 in 8. Like I said, this movie's alright. It's not great, but it's not the worst MCU film. But the fact that it basically means nothing is what upsets me. But you know what? There is one thing that this movie does right. It introduces Scott Lang's new pet ant that is life-size and can also play Rock Band. Ladies and gentlemen, best character in the MCU right here. Give it up for him. Best character. Best character there ever was. Better than Korg. Better than Groot. Get this man a side movie. Come on.